What's going on, you guys? Kyle Dabro here, and in this video, we're going to tackle the Week 4 matchups in the NFL. So let's get started. All right, so the first matchup that we have for the week is going to be the New Orleans Saints versus the Detroit Lions. The Saints are coming off a home loss to the Packers last week, and the Lions are coming off a win against the Cardinals last week. Both teams are currently 1-2, but I got the Saints here. I think Drew Brees, Alvin Kamara, and company are going to be enough to take over the Lions. I think this will be a close game, but I see the Saints winning here, moving to 2-2 on the season. So for the next game, we have the Los Angeles Chargers going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Chargers are coming off a loss to the Panthers last week, and the Bucs are currently on a 2-game winning streak and are currently 2-1. I think for this matchup, I like Brady and company here. I think they should win fairly easily, and they move to 3-1 on the season. So for the next game, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars going up against the Cincinnati Bengals. The Jaguars are coming off a loss to the Dolphins last week, and the Bengals tied Philly last week and are currently 0-1 on the season. This is a tough matchup since both teams are kind of struggling right now, but I'm going to go with Joe Burrow leading the Bengals to their first win of the season. I think it'll be a close game, but I think the Bengals get the win here. Moving on to the next game, we have the Minnesota Vikings playing the Houston Texans. Both teams are currently 0-3 and are looking for their first win of the season. I think it'll be a close game, but I think Deshaun Watson and company get their first win of the season and they move on to 1-3. All right, moving on to the next game, we have the Seattle Seahawks going up against the Miami Dolphins. The Seahawks are currently 3-0 after beating the Cowboys last week, and the Dolphins are currently 1-2 after beating the Jaguars last week. I'm going to roll with Russell Wilson and company here. I just think that Russell Wilson is on a hot streak right now and really can't be stopped by any opposing defenses. So I think the Seahawks are going to move to 4-0, and don't be surprised if Russell Wilson throws another 3 or 4 touchdowns this game. For the next game, we have the Dallas Cowboys going up against the Cleveland Browns. The Browns are 2-1 after beating Washington last week, and Dallas is coming off a tough road loss against Seattle last week. This is going to be a pretty competitive game. I think it's going to be fairly close. I'm going to give the edge to the Cowboys. I think Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott are going to be too much for Cleveland's defense, and the Cowboys are going to move to 2-2 on the season. So up next, we have the Arizona Cardinals going up against the Carolina Panthers. The Cardinals are currently 2-1, coming off a loss at home to Detroit last week, and then Carolina is 1-2, coming off a win against the Chargers last week. I think this is going to be a close game. I think both quarterbacks are going to perform well, but I'm going to give the edge to Teddy Bridgewater here. I like the way that he's played. I like the way that Carolina's defense has been playing the last couple of weeks, so I'm going to give them the edge, and they'll move to 2-2 on the season. So up next, we have the Indianapolis Colts going up against the Chicago Bears. The Colts are 2-1, coming off a win against the Jets last week, and the Bears are 3-0, coming off a win against the Falcons last week. This is going to be one of the more competitive matchups of the week. I like the Bears here. I think Nick Foles is going to lead that offense to score probably 25 to 30 points this game, and they'll move on to 4-0 for the season. Up next, we have the Baltimore Ravens going up against the Washington Football Team. The Ravens are currently 2-1 and suffered their first loss of the season to the Chiefs last week, and the Washington Football Team is also coming off of a loss against the Browns last week and are currently 1-2 on the season. In this matchup, I love the Ravens here. I think they're going to win by 2 or more touchdowns, and it wouldn't surprise me if Lamar Jackson has another big day. Up next, we have the Los Angeles Rams going up against the New York Giants. Currently, the Giants are 0-3 to start the season, and the Rams are currently 2-1 to start the season. In this matchup, I love the Rams here just because that the Giants are probably the worst team in football, and I think the Rams win big here. Wouldn't surprise me if they win by 3 or more touchdowns. For the next game, we have the New England Patriots going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Patriots are currently 2-1 to start the season, and Kansas City is off to a 3-0 start. Now, in this matchup, it's going to be a little bit different because this game has been pushed back to Tuesday of next week. Cam Newton, quarterback for the Patriots, tested positive for COVID-19, so he is out for this game. In this matchup with Brian Hoyer versus Patrick Mahomes, I'll take Patrick Mahomes all day. I expect Patrick to probably throw for 3 or 4 touchdowns, and I expect the Chiefs to move on to 4-0. For the next game, we have the Buffalo Bills going up against the Las Vegas Raiders. The Bills are currently 3-0 to start the season, and the Raiders are currently 2-1 as they come off a loss against the Patriots last week. This is going to be one of the more fun games to watch this week. I like what Josh Allen has done for the Bills so far, and the same goes to Derek Carr with the Raiders. I like Derek Carr here. I think they barely get the win here, but they'll move on to 3-1 to start the season. For the Sunday night matchup, we had the Philadelphia Eagles going up against the San Francisco 49ers. The Eagles are coming off of a tie last week to the Cincinnati Bengals, and the 49ers are coming off of a win against the Giants last week. This is going to be a tough game to pick because I think the Eagles are going to play with a sense of urgency to get their first win of the season. But I'm going to go against them, and I'm going to pick the 49ers. I like what they did, even despite the fact that they had their backups in, and I think they moved to 3-1 in the season here. And in the final game for the Monday night game, we have the Atlanta Falcons going up against the Green Bay Packers. The Falcons are currently 0-3 to start the season, and the Packers are off to a perfect start at 3-0. I expect the Packers to win big here, probably by 2 or more touchdowns. I think Aaron Jones and Aaron Rodgers are going to team up to have a big day. And don't be surprised that if the Falcons do lose this game, if Dan Quinn loses his job after. That'll wrap up all of the Week 4 picks from the NFL. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. If you like this video, you can hit the like button underneath. You're also more than welcome to subscribe to the Home Field Podcast channel. We'll also be dropping 2 new episodes of the podcast next week, so stay tuned for that. Until then, thanks for listening, you guys, and take it easy.